All right, seems like you guys can hear me. Okay, well, welcome to the stream, everybody. It's a little bit of an experiment. We might not ever repeat it, or we might. Depends on if people will show up or not. But yes, recently I have reached the goal of 1,000 subscribers, which was very nice for me to see because I've been working on this channel for quite a while, and I figured why not do something like a live stream, interact with you guys a bit, and I hope everybody received notifications because I think something went wrong there. But I have set something up. I have here a tier list, and this was set up by the French YouTuber. Ooh, I forget his name. It's in the description. He set this up. He spent a lot of time on it, so do check out his channel if you like this kind of thing. He's got another bunch of very high effort Song of Ice and Fire content, and it's just like he's got like 500 views or something on each video, so that's a shame. Yes, so I set this up. We have a long list with many characters. We have 240 characters, and I think this is every character which occurs in the book more than once. So we are going to try to rank them all, and I will warn you guys in advance. I am a big Game of Thrones fan, a Song of Ice and Fire fan, but especially the last two books are kind of a blur for me. I read them back in 2016 or something, and I think I read at least part of that was, I think, on the bicycle as an audiobook, read by the famous Roy Dotrice. So those last two books are a little bit of a blur for me, so if there's going to be a lot of characters from those two books which are very obscure, I might struggle a bit, but we're gonna power through. I had something else to say. I forget. Doesn't matter. We will see if people show up. We will see if people even get notifications. I have no idea. But let's get started on number 1, and we start off with a doozy immediately. It's Aegon the First Targaryen. Well, obviously, we're gonna rank this guy very high. It sure will, Arkiv, yeah. I already did a little bit of background research because for the first couple of rows, there's a couple of characters in there that I was like, who even are you? But I looked a couple of them up, so we shouldn't have to struggle that much. Aegon the First Targaryen. Yes, he is, of course, the guy who unified the Seven Kingdoms all the way in 0 AC. But you guys all know that. You're watching a live stream for Song of Ice and Fire, so I don't have to explain who these characters are, probably. Aegon the First Targaryen. Well, he's a very interesting character. I always picture him as sort of a kind of a mixture of like Alexander the Great and maybe Augustus, Roman Emperor Augustus #1. But really, we don't really know much about this guy. He's a very mysterious guy. He had one friend, Oris Baratheon. And he had, of course, 2 wives, Visenya and Rhaenys. And he only loved one of the wives. Is what something that I looked up recently. Our sisters in the list asks Pekiox in the chat. I think they are. Let's have a look. Maybe not. Visenya Targaryen. No, Viserys Targaryen. No, so it's characters that occur or that are mentioned more than once in the books, I think. But the guy might have missed 1 or 2. That's no problem. So a lot of you guys think that we should rank Aegon highly, and I agree. I'll put him down in A tier for now. But, well, I mean, the reason why I'm not putting him in S tier is basically because we don't really know anything about him. And that does make him interesting. But, I don't know. I figure S tier characters are characters that we should know, right? We should know a lot about them. So I don't know if we will put him in S tier. What do you guys think? Yeah, I have a 10-second delay. So I will continue going, and you guys can tell me where you think Aegon should be. I think he's A tier. I think he's a solid A tier. He's like near the border of S tier. Yeah. Okay, Arkiv agrees. Good. Next character, Aemon Targaryen. Well, we like Aemon, right? We like Aemon in this chat. This is an Aemon-friendly chat. This is the Maester, obviously, at the Night's Watch, sort of the mentor for Jon. He is, I think George kind of put him in the story as sort of a wink to the Duncan Egg books, because I think he's in there. But if you guys have watched like my previous series, you know that I haven't read those books, so I don't know if he's in there. But he's a good guy, right? He's 100-something years old. He thinks he's the last Targaryen in the world, even though he's not. And he has probably the most beautiful final line in the the final death line in the books, I think, which is Egg, I dreamed that I was old. And something else interesting about him is that I believe he sort of banished himself to the Night's Watch voluntarily, right? Because he didn't want to be a king. Have I got that right? Well, let's have a look, because I have set up something else. One moment here. Zip. There we go. We will just look up this man. Here he is. Where is the history? Aemon chose to go to the wall and join the Night's Watch for fear that he might be used in a plot to usurp his brother, Egg. Yes, so that's also very interesting, I guess. So I think you guys seem to put him in A or B tier, which I think is fair enough. So we will just head on back to the old tier list here. And I think, I think A or B tier is fine. I think to be an A tier character, you have to have a bit more lines, right? So I think we will put him in B. Well, no. Well, because I'm also going to put quite a few characters very high up that I just find very, very interesting. So, that we don't really know much about. Is he on par with Egg? With Aegon? Yeah. I will put him up. I'll put him up in A tier, because I think B tier is going to be pretty full by the end of this stream. So we're going to have some standout characters here in A tier, right? Egg's brother, gotta love him. Yeah, I agree. He had already taken a vow of the Maesters. Oh, that's the... Are we giving them a score? Oh, that's a good question, actually. Are we giving them a score based on their achievements or personality, or just how enjoyable they are? I'm just basically going to give them a score based on how interesting I personally find them. Because there's quite a few characters in here that are barely mentioned in the books, but are still very interesting. We will get, for example, to Shara Dane, or Arain Waters, or like Barbary Dustin. I think I will put them higher up on the list than they should be. I think it's gonna be more of a sort of how interesting I personally find them, or we personally find them. All right, Aeron Greyjoy. This is Aeron Damphair, or Aeron Damphair, if you are not a native English speaker and you read the books for the first time. This guy is sort of the... he's kind of sort of a fundamentalist Ironborn religion guy, right? He's very much into the drowned god. He is, I think, also drowned himself and been reborn. And if you guys know about the sample chapters for Winds of Winter, he plays a little bit of a larger role in those, I think. The Forsaken chapter, the infamous Forsaken chapter. I think he sort of hints that Euron, I'm not going to say what Euron did to him for fear of being demonetized, but it's not good. But I don't really like Aeron Greyjoy, to be honest. I agree. C tier maybe. I think he's it kind of depends on what he's going to do in WoW, but that's a lot of these characters, right? Where we're going to come to LRS, for example. It really depends on what he/she, it's a she, it's a very obvious she, is going to do in Winds of Winter, but we don't know that, so we can't judge them based on that. So Aeron, I think I'm going to put him in. I don't actively hate him, I guess. Let's put him in C tier. All right. Next one, Aerys Targaryen, the Mad King. Well, he's an interesting character for sure, I think. He's the Mad King. He sets off... Well, he's more interesting, I guess, in a sort of plot device way. Instant S. Well, I don't know about that. But I don't know about... his character is just basically that he's crazy, but not completely, because I think if you read World of Ice and Fire... He is. He starts off quite normal, right? He starts off quite competent. He starts off fairly reasonably, but he sort of gets crazier towards the end. So I think I'm going to put him in. Well, yeah, no, he's not up there with Aemon and Aegon, I think. So I'm going to put him in B tier because I think he's interesting. He starts okay, but he gets worse because of his environment. Yeah, that's true. That's kind of what happens. Yeah. That's I think one of the themes of Game of Thrones is kind of like everybody is a product of their environment, right? It's especially the Ironborn, like all of those guys would be complete assholes, but being an asshole is like cheered on in their culture, so it's very interesting. And I think Aerys Targaryen might have been a very good I don't know, master of coin or something, but society forced him to be a king and he was not good at it. Next character is Ego. So I added here a last tier, which is who. But I know who Ego is. He's one of Daenerys' blood riders. But to be honest, I did have to look him up. But yeah, he's basically just your standard Dothraki guy, right? He's not very interesting. He's not F tier. I don't hate him, but he's quite uninteresting, I think. Let's put it in D tier. Pay the iron price, yes, indeed. I'm just gonna check the Discord as well. Nobody has been replying here, I guess. No problem. We're gonna put him in D tier. I think you guys probably agree with that. I mean, he's a boy on a horse, right? LRS, yeah. So we talked about him. I guess canonically it's still him, but this is like one of the more obvious theories, right? Let me just go back to the World of Ice and Fire one and show you guys LRS. Let's see. We will do like this. And then like this. So, here he is. But this is obviously, like, if you read the name of LRS backwards, it's Sarella. And Sarella is one of the Sand Snakes. And that is a theory about the origin of this quote-unquote boy. And this artist didn't even bother. You know, he just straight up put the words of House Dorn here on his on his portrait. So yeah, this is one of the Sand Snakes who is undercover training as a maester, and I think she's fairly interesting. But well, we haven't really met a lot of we haven't really seen a lot of her yet. I think she will be, well, maybe not a major character, but a somewhat more important character in Winds of Winter. But yeah, I think she's only been in like one chapter, right? I like her. I like the idea of her. Like, I always like that that George like has secrets for pretty much every minor character. But I mean, we don't really know enough about her to give her a high tier, I don't think. So let's see. We will put her, I think, on, I reckon, C tier. I think she's more interesting than Ego. Ego is barely a character. Yeah, I agree, indeed. Alistair Thorne. Alistair Thorne is great. I like him very much, and I also really like. Well, okay, this is probably something that's obvious, but I like him in the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones very, very much. And after that, he goes downhill quickly. Although I guess he's also killed quickly, so he goes downhill very fast. But this guy, like, he's a prick. He's an asshole, but he's also got a very clear code, you know. So I really like Alistair Thorne. I think he's a great character. I think. There are more characters in his books that are important. Yeah, that's true. Big Man Thorne. What do you guys think? I think. Do I think he's as interesting as Aegon Targaryen? I kind of do. I think I'm gonna put him in A tier. I just really like this character. Like, he's a dick, but he's got his own code. He's an antagonist, but you understand what he wants. So I think. You know, I think I find him more interesting than Aerys II. I think I'm going to put him in A tier. Needs a tier in between, yeah, I guess so. I think he's sort of more in between A and B. But well, I mean, I think we've got quite a few A tier characters so far. But I think if I look down this list, many of these are not going to be A tier. So I think it's not going to be super crowded up there. So I think A tier is fine. Alice Karstark. Well, this is kind of a who. For me, I did remember her name. I know that she's like a girl who is married to the Magnar of Ten, right? So she's married to a wildling prince, and she's kind of a stereotypical northern girl, like very. I believe she. Well, I don't really remember much about actually reading about her, but she is kind of a stereotypical northern girl, sort of adventurous and strong, and she's good with a sword and that kind of thing. I think, well, I wouldn't put her too high. I guess maybe D tier as well. I think LRS is more interesting than Alice Karstark, yeah. So I will put her in D tier, I think. I think she's not uninteresting, but I think there's quite a few theories about her that make her a bit more interesting, but I can't really recall any of them. Archibald Ironwood. Well, he's a big man. He is one of the sort of entourage of Quentin Martell. And no, she's not fake Arya, Max. That's I think is Jane Westerling, right? Is fake Arya. No, not Jane Westerling. Jane Poole, I think, is fake Arya. Not Alice Karstark, I believe. Although I guess there's probably a theory that states that she is. Let's hope the succession doesn't end up with House 10 owning the Carhold. Yeah, I mean, why not? That would be pretty cool, I think. Because the Tens in the show, they did them kind of dirty because they're just like big monsters there that eat flesh, right? That's the Tens in the show. But in the books, they're basically civilized, right? They're all the way up north. They do farming. They have, I think, even bronze weapons or iron weapons even. It's very interesting. Like the Magnar of 10, I don't know if he's in here, but he's quite interesting to me. Let's see if he's in here. Magnar of 10. No, I guess not. I mean, Harry Strickland is in here, but not the Magnar of 10. Okay, well, whatever. Yeah, the most advanced of the wildlings, indeed. Is interesting because we know so little. Yeah, I kind of agree, but I mean, he's also just a big, strong guy, right? Like, I don't really think his character is super interesting. I like Quentin Martell or something. I like, but Archibald, he's just sort of the bodyguard, right, of Quentin. I don't really remember much about him otherwise. So I think for me, he's kind of on par with like Ego. He's a strong bodyguard of an interesting character. We'll put him in D tier, I think. We have not had any F tiers yet, but maybe Ario Hota is in there. Because Ario Hota is the camera that writes, right? He has basically no character. He's just Mr. Exposition Man. That's what they say about him. I really don't remember anything about it. Well, I do remember his chapters, but I don't remember anything about this guy. I don't know where he's from, or like he's very. I think he's a pretty boring character. The most pointless POV in the whole series. Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't know. Well, the action he sees is interesting, but I would say, just make like Doran a POV or one of the Sand Snakes or something, and not this guy. He's like, yeah, I don't like him. I'm gonna put him in F tier. We got our first F tier, everybody. We got no S tiers yet, but I think a few are coming. I think I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's definitely a few people here that I would put in S tier. Arianne Martell. Oh, I really like Arianne Martell. She's basically like, she is just like this femme fatale character. Like everybody who sees her just is swooned by her, and it's just suddenly every man that sees her drops like 10 IQ points. And she's got like a bunch of plots going on that make no sense, and she doesn't talk to anybody, and and when her dad says stop scheming, she just continues scheming. I really like Arianne Martell. I think she's a great character. Yeah, I kind of agree with B tier. Yeah, it kind of depends on what she's gonna do in Winds of Winter, right? Because I think she's gonna play a very big role in Winds of Winter. Yeah, so I think I agree with B tier. She's interesting, but she's not like up there with the actual developed characters. But she's interesting. Arthur Dayne, though, he's quite similar to Aegon Targaryen in a way. Like he's a character that sort of sets a lot in motion, that impacts a lot, like a huge amount in the story. Everybody sort of talks about him as this fantastic knight, and they're a great example. But at the same time, we don't really know anything about him. So he's very, very mysterious. It's similar to Aegon, really. Nobody really knew anything about Aegon either. I think Arthur Dayne is very interesting, but yeah. No, I think I will put him... Well, will I put him in A tier? He's very interesting, but do we just know... Like, we barely know anything about him. I think if we knew a little bit more about him, if he was a little bit more morally complex than people portray him, then I think he would be A tier, but I think I'm going to put him in B tier. I like him, but he's not up there with, like, Alliser Thorne or whatever. Arya Stark. Well... I like a lot about Arya, but he did have a cool sword though. That's true. He's got the Dawn sword, right? So that was made from a comet. That's very 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 mysterious. There's something going on with House Dayne, and I don't know if George dropped it or whatever. It could have just been something that he sort of began with when he started the series, and then never followed through on. But there's something going on with the Danes. You have Ned Dayne, right? And the Danes like Ned Stark, and why would they? Because Arthur Dayne was killed by Ned Stark, right? Or by Howland Reed. I don't quite remember which one. It's very, very odd. There's something going on with House Dane. And, that's another one. Like, okay, it depends on what they're going to do in Winds of Winter. For now, he's indeed, I agree, he's a force. He impacts so many stories, but he's not like... we don't know enough, I think, about him to really put him in A tier. Then we have Arya Stark. The grand theory of everything. I love reading far-fetched theories. I mean, I know there's one that the Soyev is post-apocalyptic. There's one that it's like, what was it again? There's just like a big asteroid coming or something, or that the moon literally cracked. The moon literally crashed into Planetos or something. That's like a theory, right? Yeah. No, yeah. That I'm of a similar mind to you, Grimmer54. I loved Arya, but she was kind of ruined for me in the show. But we shouldn't really judge Arya based on what happens to her in the show, I don't think. And, well, I mean, I like her, but she's also kind of a brat. I think I'm gonna, she is such a main character, though, and I really like her in the first books. But still, I mean, I do like reading her chapters, but that's not really because of her. That's just because she's in an interesting location. You have to play her role. Yeah, she's gonna kill the Night King, Arkiv. She's gonna destroy all the White Walkers. That's what we know, right? That's canon. Eris Oakhart, though. I think, okay, I feel kind of bad putting her in C tier. I kind of... Yeah, no, I'm going to put her in B. She's as interesting as Arya Martell and Arthur Dane. More interesting, I would say, even. So I feel bad putting her with like LRS and Aaron Greyjoy. I'm putting her in B tier. I like her enough for that. Eris Oakhart. I mean, Eris Oakhart is just like your run-of-the-mill Kingsguard, right? He's quite honorable and noble, and he's also super horny for Arya and Martell. That's him, right? He's, I think that's him. Let's have a look at this guy, because I don't really know anything about him other than that he has one sex scene with Arya Martell, and that he doesn't defend. He's not able to defend Myrcella, right? That's him. Let's see. I will put the wiki back on. Eris Oakhart, member of the Kingsguard. Becomes a POV. He's a POV. Yeah, okay, of course. That's why the sex scene. Because Ariane Martell, does she have a POV chapter? I don't quite remember. Okay, well, he's a handsome man. Yeah, comely face. Yada yada. Sansa Stark likes him, of course, because she likes all the bland, attractive people who have no real characters. And then Daenerys likes all the bad boys who are assholes. He's a fine, bold knight who serves faithfully. Yada yada yada. Feast for Crows. Miss Ariana's nightmares about Aerys' death. Yeah. I'm not gonna put him very high. I think he's kind of boring. We'll put him on, I guess, D tier. He's a good one. Let's see, D tier. He's kind of in the same ballpark as Archibald Ironwood for me. They're both like strong men who sort of protect people. Yeah, C tier. I guess you could argue C tier. I don't remember anything about this guy, really. So I'm going to put him in D tier. Asha Greyjoy. I like Asha. She's great. I like her in the show as well. Although, towards the end, she's a bit, but that's a bit all the characters. You can't really judge them for that. I really like her. I think she's interesting. She's like this, the perfect Ironborn. But Asha is S tier. I don't know about that. I think she's great, but I think if you're gonna be S tier, you have to have a very, like, how do I say this? You have to be a bit more complex, I think. Yeah, I think I will make her A tier for sure. I really like Asha. I really like reading her chapters as well. Although I do remember reading Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons, and thinking, like, who the hell are these guys? Why are we suddenly in this island of people who sort of pillage? Why are we suddenly in Viking Island? What does this have to do with the main story? I really remember thinking that. And I also remember that there's a lot of chapters of Brienne walking around the Riverlands. Although, from what I've seen on the fan Reddit, those are sort of interesting on the second read if you want to sort of learn about the world more. But I only read the books Well, no, I think I read the first three. I think I read twice, and then all the other ones only once. You have to be captivating rather than just interesting. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think she's quite captivating. Shara Dane, though. I mean, she's captivating in a sort of beauty sense, I think. People describe her as sort of being the most attractive woman in the whole kingdom by the time she's alive, right? And she's also very interesting to me because she's kind of on par, I guess, with Arthur Dane. Maybe, well, no, yeah, no, I think she's about on par with Arthur. She's also kind of this force that drives the story forward, you know. And Ned clearly has the hots for her. And I think she hooks up with Brandon, right? Brandon Stark. We will get to him. That she hooks up with him, right? Yeah, no, I agree. She's not much of a character, but I think she's still interesting. I mean, Arthur Dane is also not much of a character, but he is sort of a symbol for it. And Aegon really is also not that much of a character. I mean, he's kind of just a plot device, but he's still very interesting to me. I think B tier. I think we're gonna put her up here with her brother, right? Let's put her next to her brother. Like this, right? Yeah. Arthur and Shara Dane. I think they are about as interesting to me. We can't remember if it was Brandon or Ned. Is that true? I think it was Brandon that she hooked up with, right? And Ned is kind of angry about that. I vaguely recall. But it's been a really long time since I read like those first couple of books. Like I think like the last two books I read, I think in 2016 or something. So that's 6 years ago. First book is like 2 years before that or something. I think I started reading around sort of season 2 or 3 of the show. Orain Waters though. Orain Waters is great. I like him. He's like, we know that he's sort of a scheming, lying bastard, right? We know that he's sort of a swashbuckling, adventurer who sort of Cersei makes him admiral, and then he just runs off with the fleet. I really like reading chapters with Orain in it. It's just I agree he's not really much of a character, but I do really like reading his chapters. C tier maybe. Yeah, I think so because I like reading his chapters. I think he's fun as a character, but not super interesting. He's got good potential. I agree. This is another, I think, one where it sort of depends on what he's gonna do in Winds of Winter, because I think he is gonna do something. He's got the fleet there in the Stepstones, like the whole royal fleet. If he joins up with like Daenerys, and he is like super Daenerys' type, right? Because Daenerys only likes bad boys and sort of ruffians. So I think if those two meet, then it would be very interesting. It's more like what he's gonna do with those ships. Yeah, I agree. Balon Greyjoy. I think Balon is an idiot. Like, he's a very stupid man. But that doesn't make him uninteresting, you know? I mean, he's like the ultimate Ironborn, basically. But yeah, if you have to pay the iron price for everything, like, that's a dumb idea. Like, the whole Ironborn culture it makes no sense. But that doesn't really matter. Do I like Balon as a character? I mean, I guess kind of. I think he's a C tier. I think he's more interesting than like Aerys Oakheart, but he's not more interesting than like Arya Martell or Aerys. Yeah, C tier is fine. Balon Swan. This is another, I think another just boring standard Kingsguard character, right? Balon Swan. Let's have a look in the wiki. Balon Swan. Or is there something more going on with him? He's Knight from House Swan. Appears a character, big, thick with muscle, white wings. Like, it's such a shame in the show that they didn't go hard on the really silly stuff that's in the books. Like, Balon's great helm is decorated with white wings. That would be great. Like, that looks ridiculous, but like in the House of the Dragon, they do that much better. Like, there's the silly hat that Daemon wears, and like a couple of other like really good costumes. but the silver brush which clasps his clothes is decorated with ivory and onyx swans. That's great. I like that. What is his character though? Top Cersei scheme. I'm not gonna read I think all of this, but from what I remember, he's just basically sort of. Is he the one who cuts Tyrion's nose at the Blackwater? Is that true? Let's see. Baelon supports Joffrey. Tyrion. Called as the first witness in the trial. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's somebody else. Mandon Moore. Yeah, that's what I mean. He's just Kingsguard member number 15, right? Hold up, I thought it started at like 6:30 tonight. It did. We've been going for half an hour. Let's see. I guess maybe you thought it was 6:30 American time. That's possible. Let's see. We're going to go back to the tier list and we're going to put this guy where he belongs, which is on the same... Is he Ario Hota tier? Or is he D? He's Aerys Oakheart tier, right? He's like identical to Aerys Oakheart, basically. I'm going to put him at D tier. Barbary Dustin. Well, there's a lot of good theories about Barbary Dustin. She does have an interesting backstory. Like I had to look her up before starting the stream because I didn't really remember much about her, but I do know that she is like one of the only like Northern lords who really has a grudge against Ned Stark. Because I think Ned Stark he brought back her husband's horse, but not her husband's bones. Because her husband's bones, she's the husband to... Who is she the husband to? Riswell? No. To the Lord something Dustin. And he was killed at the Tower of Joy. And Ned buried him locally there and didn't bring his bones back to the north. And she kind of has a grudge against Ned for that. And she also has a grudge against Brandon because I think she has the hots for Brandon. Or Brandon, I think, even slept with her. But then didn't marry her. Because he was married to Catelyn Tully then. And she has a lot of interesting sort of stories. I think she's also the one who talks about the sort of the Great Northern Conspiracy. He's brought up in a lot of those theories. She's kind of saying like, okay, I think it's Rickard Stark, right? The predecessor of Ned and Brandon, and how he set up this grand alliance to do Robert's rebellion, right? Because I do think there's more going on there. I think it was not a spur of the moment thing. I think they were kind of looking for an excuse to do the rebellion. That makes sense. I mean, Aerys Targaryen is a crazy king, right? She got played and is bitter over it. Yeah, that's basically true. Yeah. I like her, but she's not interesting enough, I think, to go like B tier, even C tier. Because she's got like 10 lines in the books. So I think I'm going to put her at D tier. But I do like what she represents, but I don't really like her as a... Well, no, I'm going to put her up at C tier. She does have an interesting backstory, I think. Yeah, she's about on par with Baelon. I'm pumped for the live stream. All right, yeah, no, I was just quickly checking. I think they want to do a voice chat with the Discord or something, but I don't think we're going to do that, and I don't even know how to set that up. It would mean pausing the stream for like half an hour while I figure that out. Barristan Selmy. Barristan Selmy is good. I think he's another... He's kind of sort of the older version of Aerys Oakheart, but he's a little bit more going on, I think. He is a little bit more world wise of the ways of the world. He is sort of, he's sort of Arthur Dayne tier, basically, when it comes to his fighting ability. And he also makes the deliberate choice to go to Daenerys Targaryen, right? He escapes in a very daring, dramatic escape. He escapes from the clutches of, I forget who it was. I think I'm going to put him up with Arthur Dayne. Well, no, is B tier too high? Yeah, no, I do agree that the scene where he says, "Oh, I'm gonna, even at this age, I can cut you up like carving a cake." He's a really badass guy, and I think I'm gonna. But it's basically just how much I like the characters, right? So he's not really that complex, but I do like him a lot. Strong Belwes. I mean, Strong Belwes he's, I think, up with Archibald Ironwood, maybe a little bit higher. Because he's basically Archibald Ironwood, but he works for Daenerys, and he cuts himself every time. He lets every enemy cut him, so he's got a whole bunch of scars on his... and he eats a lot, and he sort of cracks jokes, like bawdy jokes, at Daenerys' court. I kind of like him, but not that much. I think I'm going to put him up here, together with Archie, old Archie. Did he kill the Smiling Knight, who Bell was? Or Barristan? No, Barristan killed Meleys the Monstrous. That's what I know. That's canon. Not in our playthrough, obviously, because we did an alternate history. Another force rather than a character. Yeah, basically. Well, I think Barristan is a bit more of a character than Arthur Dayne for sure. But I think he's more interesting because of what he represents than because of any sort of real character traits. So yeah, I kind of agree. Jaime killed the Smiling Knight. Okay, all right. Yeah. I don't really remember much about that. I don't really remember much about Robert's reign in general. It's a bit blurry for me. Benjen Stark. What do we know about Benjen Stark? We know that he knows about R plus L equals J, right? We know that he chose to go to the wall, right? What else do we know about him? He's not cold hands. At least that's what George is telling us. We know he sort of discourages Jon from joining the Night's Watch. He kind of says, okay, is this really what you want? And it's a bit weird that he's joining the Night's Watch, of course, because he is the brother to the Lord Paramount of the North. So, he's quite interesting, but is he interesting enough to warrant like B tier or something? I don't think so. I think he's about on par, I think, with Aeron Greyjoy in how interesting I find him. He's interesting, but he's not really like top tier interesting, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think he's a C tier. Yeah, extra info character, I agree. Yeah, we need more info on him. But I do know that he knows more than he lets on, for sure. Beric Dondarrion, I love Beric Dondarrion. But that's just because he's such a bloody anime character, right? He gets resurrected like 6 or 7 or 8 times. And he makes like this joke like, oh, I've been killed by Cleganes like twice. Like every fortnight I'm killed by a Clegane or whatever. I like Beric Dondarrion. And also he is... No, I'm confusing him with the Red Priest he's with. Who was the Red Priest? Thoros of Myr? Yeah, he is also quite interesting because he starts off like his life as sort of a drunk, parted from God, and then he sort of finds a lot of light again. I think Beric Dondarrion is fairly similar to that, right? Let's just look him up, see if we can figure something else out about him. Beric Dondarrion. I think I'm forgetting something about this character. I mean, I know he leads the band of what's the name? The brothers. I'm blanking on the name. What's the name of the outlaw group that he leads? Oh, Brotherhood Without Banners. Right. Thoros of Myr. Yeah. It's a slight man. Just a bunch of random dudes, yeah, basically. They're just like, oh, we don't really like Joffrey. We liked Robert, and they just start robbing people, and so many of them are very different from each other, and I think it's cool. Versus Sandor Clegane, of course, he fights Sandor Clegane. That's pretty cool. The 7 Deaths of Dondarrion, yeah. Amory Lorch. He's been killed by Gregor Clegane twice. And once by Sandor Clegane. I like Beric Dondarrion. I think I'm going to put him up at B tier. Maybe even A tier. That's just basically because I like him. Not so much because I have a good reason for it. Set up in response to the Lannister forces pillaging the Riverlands. Yep, I think so. But, I mean, they also are basically pillaging the Riverlands, right? No, but they are sort of a more noble band of outlaws, I suppose. I think B tier. B tier is fine for Beric Dondarrion. Big Walder Frey. I mean, He's one of the kids. You have Big Walder Frey, and you have, I don't know if he's in there, Little Walder Frey. They're like the two 8-year-old kids who, what happens to them? They are being tutored by Catelyn Stark, right? But I really don't know much about them anymore. I think they're either a D tier or F tier. Well, not F tier because I don't actively hate them. I guess D tier. We're going to put Little Walder here as well because they're both basically very similar, right? There's Little Walder. Little Walder Frey. Here he is. Come on. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Both on D tier. I think that's fair. They hang out with Bran in Clash, and I think one of them dies in Winterfell in Dance. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're pretty boring. If we would have had an E tier, I would have put them there. But we already have way too many tiers. Like this is gonna fill up, guys. If once we've done all these characters, it's gonna be completely full. And I really don't. This is really going a lot slower than I thought it would be going, because we have like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, 21, 25, 26 characters. But we've done 10%, and we're 45 minutes in. We need a Who tier. I have a Who tier here. Oh, we can put them there, I guess. Yeah, I think that's fair. We will put them in Who, because I vaguely know who they are, but I have no idea what they do or like what their significance is. Let's put them there. Biter. Biter is just evil incarnate, right? He's just a complete psychopath. He's kind of what's the name of that band that he's in? It's something with the Brave Companions. Yeah, so it's him and it's Qyburn and a couple of other people, and they're just full on, just psychopaths. S tier for sure. I don't know about that. He's just a complete psychopath. Oh man, because his character is in that sense not that interesting because he's just a complete psycho. But I do like him. I think maybe we should. I mean, these guys are just basic sort of fighter characters. I think maybe he belongs here, but D tier is a bit low, I guess, for him. Because I do enjoy reading him. Let's put him at C tier. That's way too high for him. But I do like reading his chapters, so let's put him in C tier. Black Walder Frey. Okay, I don't know anything about Black Walder Frey. Let's go back to the wiki. We have all the time in the world. Well, not really. At some point I want to go to bed. But it's now 7 p.m., so we can keep going. Let's see. Black Walder Frey. Walder Frey, called Black Walder, is a member of House Frey. Wiry man with a black beard. What do you guys know about Black Walder? Because I really don't know much about him. When explaining the abundance of Walders in the family, yeah, okay. Fourth line in succession. Skill the walls in the storming of the crag. I don't know shit about this guy. The ill repute of Black Walder. Yeah, I know that he's involved in the Red Wedding, yeah? He's one of the more evil Freys, I think. Yeah, let's put him in the Who tier, I agree. If I really have to look this long at the wiki page to do to see who he is, then he's a Who character, right? Let's put him there. I agree. Yep. Black Walder Frey. Who? Owen Marsh. Hello, MSB. Welcome. You can join the other 5 or 6 people that are watching this. But that's fine. I mean, I kind of wanted to make this video anyway. So even if there's nobody here or like one person, I think I was still going to make it. But I really prefer having you guys in here to back me up on the more obscure Song of Ice and Fire lore. Owen Marsh. He is a Night's Watchman. And I think he's a pretty important Night's Watchman. I think he's like the leader of Eastwatch. Right? That's him. Isn't he like the very crass character? Let's see. Bowen Marsh, who I think he runs for Lord Commander at some point. Yeah, the Lord Steward of Night's Watch. Oh no, he's the numbers guy. Everybody disses him because he only knows numbers. That's him, right? Let's see. This guy. He's a Lord Steward of the Night's Watch. Old Pomegranate. Yeah, so if you look down here, because I did do a bit of research before I got started on this stream, just so that we wouldn't have to look on the the wiki every time. 30 characters per viewer, yeah. Oh well. We need to conserve what strength remains us. Bowen knows a great deal more about counting swords than he's ever known about using them, yeah. He's the man you want in front when the foes are in the field. He'll count them right up for you. A regular demon for counting, that one. The man counts spoons. Yeah, Cotter Pike is the crass one. He's, I think, from Eastwatch. We'll get to him, hopefully. Marjorie Terrell is similar. We're not at Marjorie yet. Keep it in your pants. Let's see. We will go back to the tier list. Oh, hide this. Let's see. Well, Bowen Marsh. Okay, so we know he's the Lord Steward of the Night's Watch. I think he's, C tier maybe? D tier maybe? I think D tier. We don't really know much about him. Best counter in all the Night's Watch. Certified math boy. Well, that's pretty cool, actually. Should rank him a bit higher for that, I guess. Oh, you guys are still seeing the Awoyaf thing, I think. Zip. Here we go. Sorry. Let's see. The Brandon Stark. Yeah, we talked a little bit about Brandon Stark. That he is kind of a prick. He's kind of an asshole. But he is very much beloved. Like, he's sort of the ideal. People really like him. But I think that's mostly because people in this sort of super hyper masculine society kind of like that he's a prick to people. So let's see. What will we put Brandon? He is interesting, I have to say. C tier, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think he's about on par with Aeron Greyjoy. Yeah, he's not quite as interesting as like Arianne Martell, but he is quite interesting also because he's kind of like a force in the story again, rather than a super fleshed out character. I think. Full of different Wolders in the Hood tier. Yeah, I mean. That's kind of the joke, like with the phrases that they're all named Wolder. There's, of course, I mean, the one theory that's canon, of course, is the Omni-Wolder theory. All Wolders are the same time-traveling Wolder. It's all Bran. Brandon is better in the book. Yeah, he is quite good. Is he even in the show? This is Brandon. This is not Bran. This is Brandon, Ned's older brother. We have Brienne of Tarth. Brienne of Tarth is high up for me. I really like her. I think we're gonna put her in A tier for sure. Will we put her in S tier though? I don't think so. No, I think she's a bit too one-dimensional for that. She's not like I think the easy A. Yeah, I think I think you said it at some point as well. Like if you want to be S, you have to be really a captivating character. And Brienne, she's interesting, but she's not really captivating. She's not exceptional. No. I kind of agree. Bronn, like I think Bronn is probably one of the few characters who is more prominent in the show than he is in the books. I think she is. She was the only character not ruined this season. Yeah, well, she was kind of ruined because she was. There was this scene like when she, when Jaime goes away and she cries, right? She cries like some random woman, and that's not who she is, right? That she was kind of ruined, but not entirely. I think there's still the one the show overplayed it too much as comedic relief. Yeah, I agree. Bronn is really, I think he's a C tier, B tier. I guess. I mean, he's sort of a henchman, right? I think B tier is too high for him. I think C tier is fine. I like Bronn, but I think especially sort of in the early books, like when Tyrion is at the Vale, he's a cool character then, like in books 2 and 3. And near the end, they don't really know what to do with him, even in the what was I gonna say? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Brynden Tully. Brynden Tully is high up, man. I love Brynden Tully. Let's put him in B tier for now. Maybe even higher. But that's also just like Brynden Tully is just such a badass. We're doing book characters. Yeah, we are indeed. He's just such a badass. And in the show, they play him sort of like angrily. He's angry with his brother, like Hosted Tully. But in the books, he's just really this legend. Like everybody thinks he's sort of the greatest commander who ever lived, and he has this nice back and forth with Jaime as well, I believe. and he's killed off screen in the show. I think B tier is fine. I think A tier is too high for him, but he's a cool character. I like him. I think he's about on par with Berg Dondarrion actually. The show wasted him, yeah, kind of. But I was happy that he was even in there because they could have cut him easily. Catelyn Stark. Okay, this is probably the most controversial entry on the list because a lot of the fandom seems to really, really hate Catelyn Stark, and I don't really hate her, but I do think that she makes some dumb decisions early on. But I guess you could argue that she sort of wants to set things in motion. Yeah, I agree. She's a good person. Yeah, I don't really know, but people seem to hate her because I think she kind of starts the War of the Five Kings, right? Because she imprisons Tyrion in the inn, but on the other hand, if the war was going to start anyway, then the best choice is to capture Tyrion as soon as possible, so you will have a bargaining chip, right? Yeah, she's compared to Ramsay. Yeah, that's true. I think people really, 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 really dislike her. She releases Jaime. She hates Jon. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And she's also just, her chapters are, for me, not very fun. She does nothing but whine, basically. And she has good reason to do it, but it doesn't really make reading her chapters very fun. It's not all because of the show. I think, well, it's mostly because of the show, actually. Every bad thing Cat has done is just, here we go, here comes the the controversial takes. Okay, I do think that most of what she does is certainly sympathetic. Like, you understand why she does it. But I do think that she makes some impulsive decisions here and there that sort of make things worse. But she is a very interesting character, I would say. I think she's more interesting than like Aeron Greyjoy or Rain Waters. But her chapters, I don't really find them very fun to read. But she is a very important character. Here, I guess it's like, do I care if she's important? Or is it just, what do I like? I think in the beginning we said... in the beginning we said... whatever I think, right? So I guess maybe C tier? No, let's keep her in B tier. It's fine. Cersei Lannister. Now, Cersei Lannister is like easy S tier from me. I really, really like Cersei Lannister, yeah. She's a corpse in the books now, yeah, that's true. I guess not all of her chapters are whiny. Cersei Lannister is up there, man. She's one of my favorite characters in the show. Yeah, in the show as well, but in the books also. I think she's just very fun. All her chapters are very fun to read. And she's one of my favorite characters in the books, because she's such an idiot. It's really fun to read her chapters because she thinks she's like this big mastermind, but she really is not. I like her. Let's put her in S tier. Let's see. Shataya. Shataya is a big who. I had to look her up before we started the stream, and apparently she's like a brothel owner. So she owns one of the brothels in King's Landing. But I really don't remember much about her. And it says that her daughter is Alayaya, and that's the girl that is taken by Cersei because she thinks it's Shae, right? I guess in that sense she's quite interesting. Yeah, I think it's a who for me. I really don't remember this girl at all. Chet. Oh man, I did look him up, but I already forgot who he was. Let's see. We're gonna look at the wiki. Let's see. Let's put this on, this off. There we go. And look at the wiki for Chet. How can you not remember the great character Chet? Oh right. Oh, he's one of the traitors in the Night's Watch. That's he's one of the. He's a POV character even. He is he's one of the 13 or 14 traitors who betray. I do remember his chapter because he is sort of. Yeah, he says, okay, I picked because he's at the Night's Watch because he murdered a girl for rejecting him, and then I remember that these were kind of his last thoughts. He's not quite F tier, I guess. But he's pretty close because he doesn't really do anything other than other than in that basic chapter, I think. I reckon either Who tier, because I really had to look him up, or like D tier, because I do remember vaguely one or two things about him. Yeah, no, let's put him in Who tier, because I was like, Chet? Who the hell is Chet? Let's put him in Who tier. Cleo's Frey. Where's E tier? Yeah, I removed that, because otherwise it will be maybe too many tiers. But we could add it still, if you guys like. No problem for me. Add a row below. E. Oh, E. Oh, no. This is D. And then this is E. Oh, they have the same color. That bothers me. But that's fine. I think we can put Chet maybe in E tier. Here we go. We had another one that we wanted to put in E tier. You guys remember? Balance 1. Ego, maybe? Yeah, let's put Ego in E tier. Alright. Cleo's Frey. No RGB setting. No, it's just you can choose 5 colors. But well, whatever. It's about the same category anyway. D or E tier doesn't really matter so much. Cleo's is either Who tier or maybe D tier. Yeah, he's basically just another evil Frey, right? He's sort of on par with Black Walder Frey. I don't really remember him much. Yeah. Let's continue the tradition of putting all the anonymous Freys in the Who tier. Because they're basically just, for me, kind of all the same character. It's just all a Frey, you know? No way, another evil Frey, yeah, indeed. Cold Hands. We're already at the sea, guys. We're getting there. We only have this many characters to go. We're probably not going to finish it tonight. We'll see how long we keep it going. I'm still having fun. I will have a little bit of a break shortly, I think, of a glass of whiskey or something. The only thing is that his head turns into a pulp, does it? Cleo's Frey is death? Is that at the Red Wedding? I guess so, right? Let's look that up. Cleo's Frey. I will not share my screen, but I will just read what his death is. Frustrated, huh? Oh, he's the... I remember him now vaguely. He's the half Lannister Frey. He's the one who travels a little bit with Jaime and Brienne. And he's the one Frey who doesn't join the Starks, basically, at least at the start. He joins the Lannisters from the start. He also has like a shield that's half lions. He's sort of a half Lannister Frey. Cold Hands has potential, but it needs to have something happen to him. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Cold Hands... I to be perfectly honest with you guys, I didn't really like Cold Hands. Like, as soon as they were across the wall, there was just some Deus Ex Machina character who took them to Bloodraven, right? I'm not a big fan of Cold Hands. I think I will put him in D tier. He might become more interesting. Well, no, D tier is fine because he is quite interesting in the fact that he is not a White Walker. He's not a White. He's kind of a different undead creature, right? It's very that's quite interesting, but that doesn't really have to do anything with his character. Only Aemon and his sons joined Lannisters from the start. Oh, is that true? Okay. I'm ready for a 6-hour stream. That's gonna... Then I'm gonna have to drink some water in between. I should have brought some snacks or something. Oh well. Courtney Penrose. Courtney Penrose is the steward of Storm's End. And I did have to look him up, but he is quite interesting because... He has quite a couple of really, really badass lines. I will look those up. He has, of course, the famous line like, "Oh, bring on your storm, my lord, and recall, if you will, the name of this castle." That's him. But he has a couple of other great one-liners as well. Oh, here he is. Zip. Let's go to the quotes page for. This is a great picture, by the way, of Cleo's Frey. Looks like Bert from Bert and Ernie. Who were we going to look up? Courtney Penrose, yeah. And he raises Edric Storm as well. He's sort of known by that. Where's his mouth? Yeah. Penrose should be S tier. Let's just have a look at a man who changes kings and gods the way I change my boots, as do these other turncloaks I see before me. Is it justice? Is it the justice of your cause you doubt, my lord, or the strength of your arm? Are you afraid I'll piss on your burning sword and put it out? These are great, man. May the others bugger your lord of light and wipe his arse with that rag you bear. He's great, man. But he's like, I think he's only in like one chapter, so he's not really prominent enough to give him a too high of a ranking, I don't think. But the name of this castle line is not even in here. I'm pretty sure that's him. He throws my pardon in my face. What do you make of this Courtney Penrose? A stubborn man. Yeah, that's fair enough. Let's go back to the old tier list. Whoop, there we go. Where will we put him though? I think he's cool. If Penrose hadn't died so already, he had potential for A. Yeah, I agree. He's a one-off. Yeah, but we cannot put him too high because he's a one-off. I mean, he's kind of like Brynden Tully, right? He's got a couple of badass lines. Let's put him up there. Sure, why not? I like him. He's entertaining. I agree. Cotter Pike. Cotter Pike is the leader of Eastwatch by the Sea, I think. He is kind of a sort of foul-mouthed asshole, and I think he runs for Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. That's him, yeah. When we were earlier at the other one, where is he? The other Night's Watch guy, not Alistair Thorne. Bowen Marsh, yeah. He's not like. I think he's nice. He's better than Bowen Marsh, but he's still a pretty minor character. Cotter Pike. He does have some good lines as well. So I looked him up as well. Maybe we can read some of those as well because they were quite fun. Let's see. Cotter Pike. Member of the Night's Watch, leader of Eastwatch by the Sea. I don't really remember much of him, but if you muck this up, I'm gonna rip your liver out and eat it raw with onions. It's not my habit to speak unkindly of my brothers, but let's be frank, the Ironborn are a race of pirates and thieves, and Cotter Pike was doing something and murdering when he was still half a boy. Yeah. That's he's okay. He's okay. I'm not gonna put him too high because he's just such a minor character as well. Well, no, he's not that minor, but he's also not that big. That's maybe a very controversial take, but the Night's Watch chapters are really not my favorite. I don't mind them, but I certainly don't think they're the best ones because all these guys just kind of blend together, right? Anyway, Cotter Pike, C maybe. Yeah, I think so. Let's put him in C. He's about on par with Bronn, I think. Crestor is great. He's interesting. He's just one of those, like, he starts appearing quite early in the books, I think. And I do remember he's like one of the first characters where I was like, what the fuck, George? What even is this guy? He's got a bunch of daughters and then he has children with his daughters. That's, yeah. Yeah, MSB, I agree. I put Cersei in S tier. She's up there. Stuff about the Night's Watch and the White Book is the least interesting stuff to me. Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of like the whole intrigue, sort of the court intrigue part of Game of Thrones a bit more. But, I mean, we're going to have to suck it up, I think, because I think Winds of Winter is going to be a magic-filled book. There's going to be a lot of magic in there, a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff. So I think we're just going to have to suck that up. We have Crestor, but what will we do with Crestor, though? I think he's cool. We'll put him in B tier, I think. Or is that too high for him? Well, no, yeah, he's very memorable, and I think that's important. He's just so memorable. Everybody knows about Crestor and his wives. Yeah, so let's put him in B tier. He makes him think about the actual truth of the White Walker. Yeah, he does. Stuff about the Night's Watch and the White Walker is the least interesting stuff. Yeah, that we already talked about. That Sweet Home, Crestor's Keep. Yep. I mean, yeah, Alabamans could learn a thing or two from Crestor. Maester Cresson, F tier. I remember him because he's like he's in one chapter, right? And he drinks some wine and then suddenly dies. Melisandre kills him, but he's kind of a plot device, really. Oh, he's a bit boring. We're gonna put him in F tier. Daario Naharis. We're already at the D's. It's been an hour. We're at D. We have characters going all the way down to Y, to young Griff. We're probably not going to finish this tonight, but let's see. Daario Naharis. Well, Daario Naharis, he's also kind of a plot device character, right? He's kind of the bad boy, and he's kind of there to be sort of the devil on Daenerys' shoulder. He sort of encourages her to do evil stuff and to let out the dragon and that kind of thing. He's like 5 characters at once. Yeah, he's Benjen. He's Euron. He's he's Bran probably, because everybody has Bran. Everybody has time traveling Bran. Yeah, Benjario. Yeah. But where do we put him though? He's just kind of this sort of bad boy sellsword character. Not a huge fan of Daario, but I think I will put him D tier maybe, or is that too low? Nah, D tier is fine. I think he's pretty nice. Old man is not Daario. Everybody is Daario, guys. It was Daario all along. D is fine, yeah, I guess so. Daenerys Targaryen. I like Daenerys. I like her. I think she's interesting. Will I put her in S tier though? It's an easy A tier for sure. I think Dany is great. She's especially in the books. I think in the show she sort of turns into this sort of badass character. Sort of her main character trait is being badass, and then suddenly she becomes a mega fascist. But in the books, she is also kind of like a teenage girl, right? She's discovering her sexuality, and she's sort of she's insecure in the beginning, and she's like, oh, do I know what I'm doing? But she really overcomes that. So I think she's S. Let's put her in S. I like her. I also like reading her chapters. Well, that's not quite true. I don't really like reading her chapters in Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons, because it's just every chapter is basically the same. It's like, oh, what are we gonna do against these new terrorists? And oh, they took over some town somewhere. We have to retake it. She does nothing for like 2 whole books. Yeah, true. But in the first 3 books, she's great. She's S tier. She's still a kid. Yeah, in the book, she's kind of I really agree with that. She's one of the most empathetic characters for me as well. Yeah, it's she starts off very weak. She has this great character arc. She becomes this very strong queen. I like her, but I agree that especially in the later books, her chapters are sort of eclipsed by those of Cersei. If you go for women POVs, Dagmar Cleftjaw. He's a random Ironborn guy. He's got a cleft jaw. He's got a hair lip. Let's see. Let's look him up. Let's see if there's anything else interesting about this guy. Dagmar Cleftjaw. Does he not have a? Does he not have a page? Surely he does. Cleftjaw. Dagmar Cleftjaw. Oh, I'm sorry. Here he is. He's got a big hair lip. This is not what a hair lip looks like, by the way, but that's fine. He's portrayed by Ralph Ineson. Captain of Longship Foam Drinker. Does he have any good quotes? These old knights are more cunning than you think, or they would have never lived to see their first grey hair. The day is one, and yet you do not smile, boy. Oh, he's with. Is he with Theon's crew when they take Winterfell, or does he take Fight by Deepwood? Ah, yeah, caught an axe to the face. Yeah, that's pretty cool. He's a badass, and that's it. Yeah, that's basically it. He's a badass, and that's it. Yeah, that's that. I 100% agree with that. He's like an old badass character. I guess he's kind of. I mean, this is where it gets subjective, but I guess he's kind of on par with Courtney Penrose. But we will not put him with Courtney Penrose because I don't remember him that well. Let's see. We will put him in. C? No, he's not C tier. D tier, I think. E tier is too low for him, I think. I think he's more interesting than E tier. Is he though? I don't actively hate him, I guess. Theon goes for Winterfell and Dagmar commands a decoy attack to. Oh, that's the one. He's got a separate. I do remember that scene, by the way, when he dies. I think it's very explicit, right? How they describe his death. That's D tier. D tier is fine. Darion. I had to look this guy up as well. Don't know if you guys know who it is, but this is the Bard of King's Landing, basically. He's a singer at King's Landing. But he travels with Sam to Old Town, and he abandons Sam in Bravos, and that's basically all we know about this guy. So I think this is kind of a Who tier. Let's put him here in Who. He becomes a singer in Bravos, and he abandons the Night's Watch, and Sam punches him in the face. That's pretty cool, I guess, but that's more cool for Sam and not so much for Darion. So let's put him in Who tier, because I don't think many of you guys remember who this guy is. Davos Seaworth. Everybody knows who Davos Seaworth is, though. I think Davos Seaworth is A tier for me. I like him. He's a very principled man. He is kind of. I finished Feast for Crows like a week ago. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A. Yeah. Everybody agrees with A. Yeah. Makes sense. Davos Seaworth is very interesting because he is an incredibly principled man. He is like. Somebody cuts his fingers off and he's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I was wrong. He's really, really loyal to Stannis. But I do wonder what will happen to him in the next books, though, because what they did to him in the show was kind of boring. But I think in the books he will probably play a bigger role. But I really, he might just die in the battle together with Stannis. But I think that, well, I really don't know what you're gonna do with Davos after Stannis dies, really. So he's just like, his character is so linked to Stannis. What's this guy gonna do when Stannis dies? It's yeah, A tier is easy though. I really like reading his chapters as well. He's like the most reasonable guy in all of Westeros. Only he doesn't like, he's married and he's got 5 kids, but he never mentions them at all. That's always a bit weird, but you know. Dennis Mallister. He's another Night's Watch guy, right? Let's have a look. Dennis Mallister. Knight of House Mallister, member of the Night's Watch, commanded the Shadow Tower. Yeah, I think doesn't he run also for Lord Commander? He was a candidate in the last 2 elections of Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. What do I know about this guy? I will share the wiki again, by the way. Here we go. He looks like a dwarf. He's just put Dennis with Cotter Pike. They would hate being in the Saints. Oh yeah, they hate each other. That's right. They that's why Jon wins the election, right? It's because they run against each other and they don't want to vote for each other. I think he's about on par with that. I vaguely remember him, but don't know much about him. And he's another sort of asshole character of the Night's Watch. Let's do that. Tier list. There we go. Dennis Mallister. Let's put him up with Cotter Pike. I think that's a fine idea. Where's Cotter Pike? He's C tier. That's quite high, actually. I don't know if he really deserves that, but that's fine. Sam plays them against each other, so Jon wins. Yeah. Dick Crab. Dick Crab. What is he one of the Brave Companions? I think so, right? I don't quite remember who he is. And this is really good for my Soyaf knowledge. Let's see, Dick Crab. It's gonna do me a lot of good in life, knowing all this shit. Dick is scrawny and ill-fed. He has a sharp face. He's a former soldier, originally from Nimble Dick. Right. He's in the Brotherhood Without Banners, I think. Is that who he is? Yeah. While in the company, huh? Or is he in the Brave Companions? Speaks with a pious dwarf. Tevil Medepool. Leave Medepool with Dick. Oh, he's the guide who leads them through the Riverlands. Yeah. That's him. Yeah. I vaguely remember him. He's awesome, people say. He's with Brienne in the Riverlands in Feast. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I vaguely remember now. Yeah, I do remember this. Like he talks really like a sort of a lowly educated guy. Like there's a lot of like he skips a lot of consonants everywhere and vowels. Nimble Dick will say it. I like him. I like him well enough. What do you guys think? C tier? B tier, I think, is a little bit too high for him. Let's see. My great-grandpa cut lots of heads and made them speak counsel to him. Yeah. C, we'll do C. He's up there. Oh, we've reached the second line in the tier list. There's going to be a lot of them. By the end, it's all going to be three rows thick everywhere. C for crab, yes indeed. Donald Noy, he's another Night's Watch guy. What do we know about Donald Noy? Is he with I think he's one of the guys who stabs Jon, right? He stabs Baratheon. Oh, he's a smith, right? Used to be a smith for House Baratheon at Storm's End. Wishes his friend Jon well when he goes and joins the Great Ranging. This is the guy. Here he is. Remaining men of the Night's Watch at Castle Black retreat to King's Tower. Leads the defense against Mance's Raiders, vast army of the North. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. He's cool. He is cool. Yeah, he's the one who kills the giant. Yeah, that's right. He deserves a high ranking, I think. He's a pretty cool guy. Let's see. Where will we put him? I kind of feel bad that I don't really remember him. Like I said, the Night's Watch chapters, like all these guys kind of blend together for me, especially after 6 years. But Donald Noy, is he C tier? B tier maybe? Nah, not B tier. These guys are all like iconic. Except maybe Courtney Penrose, but I just put him up there because he has good lines. I think C tier. C tier is good. He's the coolest Night's Watchman, yeah. Donella Hornwood. No idea. That's like... Who? This is a who tier, I think. Let's see. Donella Horn. Let's look her up anyway. Maybe I'm forgetting. Donella Hornwood. Wife of Lord Hellis Hornwood. Here we go. Ramsay's wife. Oh, is she? Second. This is the coolest Night Watchman. Originally from House Manderley, she's a cousin of Wyman Manderley, Lord of White Harbor. Gentle and modest, Donella has passed her childbearing years, yet still comely. Game of Thrones. Hellis, Lord of Hornwood, is killed in... I remember. She's the girl whose husband dies, and then Ramsay takes over her land. Yeah. I vaguely remember, but I don't really remember much about her as a character, other than she's very, very traumatized. Yeah, I think that's it, right? Yeah, I think she... Yeah, tortured prisoner. Yeah. She's incredibly traumatized by Ramsay. But that's fine, I suppose. Oh, that's not fine. But she is. I don't think we'll put her very high. Let's see. She eats her own fingers. Oh, is that right? Is that her? Okay. I vaguely remember that. Donella Hornwood. I think she's... I think E tier. Like I think Alice Karstark is more interesting than she is. Cold Hands is more interesting than she is. Yeah, I think E tier. Dantas Hollard. Well, the only thing we know about Dantas Hollard is that he gets drunk during a tourney, and then Joffrey wants to kill him. And C for clown, yeah, kind of. Joffrey wants to kill him, and then doesn't because Sansa shows mercy. So he's more kind of a plot device than a character, really. And in the show, I think he helps with the plot to poison Joffrey, but not in the books, I think. I think in the books that's not a thing, right? I think Dantas Hollard just kind of disappears after that tourney. So I think we will put him... we could put him just in D for Dantos. He's always drunk like Cersei, so you're saying we should put him up in S tier. Is that what you're saying? Let's put him in D tier. Yeah, I think he's about on par with like Bowen Marsh and guys like that. Yeah, D tier is fine, I think. Doran Martell. Ooh, Doran Martell. Well, he's another quite controversial character, I think. Oh, hello, Mr. Fried Chicken there. He's another quite controversial character, I think, because I think a lot of people think he has this like great conspiracy going on, and he's like 20 steps ahead of everything and everyone. But then again, he sends Quentyn over to Daenerys with like nothing, like one ship and a sort of a dusty note, and he obviously fails to win her over. And he does a couple of things that are like he waits way too long with taking his revenge. That's why the Sand Snakes don't really like him. He is an interesting character though. He's got the gout. He likes his kids. Where to put him though? He's good at playing clever. That's true. Everybody thinks he's clever. Everybody thinks he's got a good plan going on. Okay, this is not so much about do I think he's playing the Game of Thrones well. This is just about is he an interesting character, and I think he is. I think he's up there. I think he's definitely more interesting than like Aeron Greyjoy and stuff. He's B tier, I think. Is he A tier? I think he's on the edge. We'll put him like here. We will put him close to the A tier because I think he's an interesting character, but not quite A tier. I think he's quite interesting enough for that. B tier, yeah, okay. Doria. Who is Doria? I have no idea. I think she's one of the Daenerys' handmaidens, right? Is that her? Let's see. Doria. Doria is a Lysene handmaid to Daenerys Targaryen. Yep. I don't remember her from the show, but I think in the show she was not. There was no blonde handmaiden in the show, right? They were both sort of the same ethnicity. This girl was just straight up blonde. Daenerys' girl. Is this the one that Daenerys has sex with, or is that the other one? That's the other one, right? Irri or Jiqui, one of those. Doria is given to Daenerys to instruct her in the womanly arts of love. This is just so. Ugh. This is one of those horny George things. He puts in a couple of scenes that are like, don't really add anything. But it's just, yeah. Oh well. Oh, she's the one who tells the story about the dragons that come out of the moon. But I mean, she's just a handmaid, right? Not too interesting. Let's put her down in like E tier or something. Let's go back to the tier list. Here it is. E tier. Yeah, she's about the same as Aggo. Let's put her here. E tier. E tier is fine by me. Well, my stream is really lagging. It's like 15 seconds behind. So if you guys, if I don't respond to your comments immediately, that's why. Drogon though. Drogon. Where will we put the dragons? Because they are interesting as like a plot device. They're basically like nuclear weapons, right? They're a metaphor for nuclear weapons. If you have dragons, then you win, basically. Should put them high up, I think, because they're such an important part of the story, right? Drogon is the coolest dragon. Yeah, I agree. Is he S tier though? Is he even A tier? Yeah, I think he's A tier. I think I will put Drogon on A tier and the other two dragons on B tier. What do you think? Because Drogon is like sort of the main dragon, right? We'll put Viserion and the other Rhaegal. We'll put them on B tier. Viserion and where's the other one? Rhaegal. Put them on B tier. I think that's cool. Yep, high B. Yeah, pretty much. I can put them here. Nah, I think Arianne Martell is more interesting than the dragons. And Shara Dane as well. Go put them like here. Up from now, Arya Stark is also more interesting. Barristan Selmy probably not, so this is probably a good place for them, sort of mid B. All right. Eddard Stark. Eddard Stark is an easy S tier, right? Like, he's the main character in book 1. He dies. He's got a complex moral compass. He makes mistakes. He learns from those mistakes, and then but he doesn't really learn enough. He comes in with his sort of predetermined set of values that don't really work at all in King's Landing. But I think he's an easy S tier. I don't think I really even need to explain why. He's like he's the main character. Everybody loves him. He's played by Sean Bean, indeed. All right, Dolorous Edd, Addison Tollett. I didn't have any art for Dolorous Edd. This is just the show. The show Addison. Okay. Ed is one of the more interesting characters at the Night's Watch, I think. He's a close friend to Jon. Very cynical guy, makes a lot of jokes. I think he Very good backup character. Yeah, it's either B or C. I agree. Brynden Tully. Yeah, he's up there with Brynden Tully, and like Catelyn Stark. I still feel kind of bad putting Catelyn Stark in B tier. I think maybe we should move her up a bit. But let's leave her here for now. Dollar's Head, I don't really need to explain what this guy is, right? He's just a buddy of John's. Let's move on to the next person. Comic relief done good, yeah, basically. Edmure Tully. Edmure Tully is also kind of interesting because he is kind of just a good guy. Like, people think he's an idiot, but I don't really think he's that much of an idiot. He's got moral values that are clashing with the noble lords. Like Catelyn Tully thinks he's an idiot for allowing these small folk to come into his castle, but like that's the reason why castles exist, is to have to protect like farmers when there's war. Like that's the whole reason that they're there. It was butchered in the show. In the books, he's the best. Kind of. Yeah, I don't remember that much. I know there's a great exchange between Edmure and Jaime in the books, I think. Let's have a look at him. I think we should give him high. We should put him up high somewhere. But I don't know about how high. Let's see. Let's go back to the wiki here. And let's have a look for Edmure. Edmure, like this? I think so, right? Edmure Tully, yeah. So look at some of his quotes. Yeah, who are all these folk? My people, they were afraid. See, that's great. That's a great quote. How can we talk of peace while the Lannisters spread like a pestilence over my father's domain, stealing his crops and slaughtering his people? Here, again, he talks about his people. He's great, man. He was always proud of you and he loves you fiercely. I'm the last man in 7 kingdoms to tell anyone who they must wed, nephew. Nonetheless, you did say something of making amends for your Battle of the Forts. He's also kind of like... he's the coolest lord you can have, I agree. He gives Littlefinger his nickname, really? Is that him? That is great. Or is that Edison Tullett? No, that's Edmure then, I think. He's great, yeah. I really like him. I think he's a B tier. He's not quite prominent enough, I think, to give him A tier. I don't really like the actor they got for him in the show, though. I think I imagined him more as the guy you just saw in the wiki, sort of the red bearded guy. B tier, yeah. He wins a battle and gets scolded for. Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, but he goes against the strategy of Robb Stark a little bit, right? He sort of throws men away. But on the other hand, he did win. Yeah, could be one of the best Lord Paramount if he survives Winds of Winter. Yeah, kind of. I think if you're gonna choose a Lord Paramount to live under, Edmure Tully is not a bad choice at all. I think B tier is good for him. Edric Dane, Edric Dane. He is the Ned Dane. He is the mysterious young Dane who probably was going to grow into Darkstar, into Gerald Dane. But then George didn't do his 5-year gap thing. And so George planned on having a 5-year gap in between, I think, Storm of Swords and Dance with Dragons, or Storm of Swords and Feast. I sure wonder what he will do. Yeah, but I think he's not really going to do anything because I think he's just a remnant of some other plan that George had. Like, I think he was going to play a much more prominent role, but he's too young now because there's no 5-year gap because he's like 9 years old, right? So I think he's interesting, but he drops down several levels just because I'm pretty sure nothing is going to happen to him. I think he's just a remnant of a previous draft of the books, basically. So I think he's more interesting than like these guys. So I think we'll put him in C tier. Edric Storm. We don't really know much about Edric Storm, do we? Do we ever meet him in the books? Yeah, we must do. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on this list. Let's have a look. Edric Storm. He is a bastard of Robert. That much I know. He is a noble bastard, and he grows up at Storm's End with Renly. He's about the same age as Renly, probably. Oh no, he's younger. We meet him in the Devos POV. Yeah. Is he sacrificed? Yeah, I think so. Because in the show they have Gendry, but Gendry is sort of merged with Edric, I think, in the books. Because indeed, that's the one, I think. Precious Stennis, yeah. So that's the one. So he's leeched, and in the show that's Gendry, but in the books, Gendry and Edric are separate characters. Gendry sort of accompanies Arya, but Edric is at Dragonstone, and he gets the leeches from Melisandre, and that gives her, I think, the Shadow Baby. I think that's why the Shadow Baby that kills Renly, I think, comes from the royal blood of Edric Storm. I'm pretty sure that's it. Is that true? Because she does take blood. She does do something with the blood, but she wants to kill him outright. I don't really know why that is. Curse the 3 rival kings. Ah, yeah, okay. Robb is killed in the Red Wedding, and Joffrey is poisoned. Yeah, okay. So that's what happens. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think he's a pretty interesting character, but he's also just a little kid, right? He's more of a plot device, really. We can put him up a bit higher. C, sure, yeah. Maybe B? No, not B. I think he's a solid C. Edric Storm. He's interesting. Elia Martell was a pretty. He's a pretty unknown character again. She's kind of up there with like a Shara Dane, people like that. We don't know that much about her, I don't think. She's of course killed by the Mountain. So she's again sort of a plot device because she sets in motion the whole Oberyn Martell thing. She is the wife of Rhaegar Targaryen, obviously, and I think she's kind of sad that he cheats on her with Lyanna Stark. He's a C. Yeah, I think she's a C. Yeah, maybe even less actually, because at least Lyanna Stark, we kind of have sort of a character description for her, but I think Elia Martell is just basically described that she's sad and pretty. You know, I think it's C or D. Is she? Yeah, no, she doesn't belong in the D tier. She doesn't belong with Dante's Hall. She's more interesting than that. Elaria Sand. Oh boy. Elaria Sand. The Sand Snakes. I think even in the books I found them quite boring. But not as much as the show, obviously. But still. Here she is. By a picture by Amok again. Beloved paramour of Prince Oberyn. Oh, this is the paramour of Oberyn. Yeah. She's a pretty prominent character in the show, at least in season 3 or 4. Not accounted as a beautiful woman, but attractive and eye-catching. I don't know. This looks pretty, quite pretty to me, but fine. Accompanies Oberyn to. She hasn't really done that much, I don't think. She's with Oberyn. Yeah, this is her. I remember this. Yeah. Not that high up, I don't think. Let's see. Turn on the tier list again. Same as Elia, maybe. Yeah, I think that's fair. Does Elia deserve C tier though? Does she really? No. Yeah. No, I'm gonna put her in D tier. Elaria Sand, I think I'm also gonna put her in D tier. Because she doesn't really do much. Like she's there, but I don't really remember anything that she does. Okay, Aemon Frey is another Frey brother. I think one of you guys mentioned that Aemon Frey is the best Frey. Sad and pretty, just like Rhaegar. Yeah, that's fair enough, I guess. But at least Rhaegar sort of very much pushes the story forward, and there's a little bit more going on also with Rhaegar because he does seem to know a bit more about prophecy. And a bit more about sort of his purpose in life. Will I post this video after? Yes, I will. I think it will just remain up as a live stream, and I will probably also make an edited version. Edit everything down a bit. Missed the first 90 minutes, yeah. I mean, I did tell you guys that we were not going to be done anytime soon, and we're only at the ease, so. Oh, don't you guys worry. Let me just have a look in the Discord real quick. Because I did say that I would have a look at that once in a while. Alright. No. I think everybody who was in the Discord who wanted to join is here. Jamie's uncle, Lord of Riverrun. Pretty as fuck. petty as fuck about not destroying his castle, even though it was still held by Tullies. Aemon Frey. I don't remember that much about Aemon Frey, but I think he's one of the more interesting Frey, so we won't put him in the Frey tier, the Who tier. We should make a Frey tier. So many Freys, man. Oh, this is some good art. I will share this again. Whoop! Look at this man. He's got this big neck. A knight from House Frey. He's married to Lady Jenna Lannister, with whom he has 4 sons. Went to Castle Rock at the age of 14 to marry the boisterous Jenna Lannister. Ah, right. I do remember Jenna Lannister vaguely. She was kind of the aunt. He's wandered frames at the Siege of Riverrun and camping south of Red Fork. To Jaime, your Lord's father's faith in me was well placed. I think he's one of the better Freys. Frey tier is Who tier, yeah, basically. Thinks he can mix amends because he's married to Tywin's sister. Yeah. I think I will put him a bit higher than the rest of the Freys, but not that much. Maybe like D tier or E tier. Is he E tier level? Because these guys are just basically, like, I know vaguely who they are, but that's it. Like, these guys, I don't know who they are at all unless I look it up. And these guys are just nothing characters. That's basically what it is. Aemon Frey, I guess D tier. D tier is fine. F for Frey. Yeah, we can't put all the Freys in F tier. Some of them are, well, no, not like I don't. I was gonna say some of them are interesting, but really, like basically Walder Frey himself, old Walder Frey, is interesting, and the rest is not really interesting. Euron Greyjoy. Oh boy, that's a big one. Is he an S tier? Because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, especially like in the Forsaken chapter. Do I like Euron? I think he's a bit too much of an anime villain, you know? But on the other hand, it is a super interesting character. Discount Jack Sparrow versus Bringer of the Apocalypse. Yeah, basically. Oh, man. But I really do want to see where his story goes, though. Even though I'm not really interested in his actual final plan. Is he S tier, though? I think I would put him up a bit like Davos Seaworth and Brienne of Tarth rather than Eddard Stark and Daenerys Targaryen. I think he's a solid A tier. S tier, he's also just somebody who just shows up only in like the second to last book, basically, right? Leighton Hightower will smite him outside of Old Town. Yeah, Leighton Hightower is interesting, right? Is he in here? Leighton Hightower, probably not. I don't think he was in the books yet. No, he's not in here. He is like this. That is the hidden, like that's the Lord of Old Town, Lord of Hightower, and he is sort of he everybody thinks he's practicing magic behind closed doors in the Citadel of Old Town. So that's like the least magic friendly place on Earth because the Maesters all hate magic. No episode today. No, probably not. There's going to be one up on 1st of January, though. You're just going to do this live stream for now. Episode 22 is ready to be released, but I don't want to release it tomorrow because it will be New Year's Eve, right? You guys won't watch it, so I will put it up on New Year's Day. Leighton hasn't come down from his tower for like a decade or more. Yeah, that's true, huh? He's very, like, we barely know anything about him, but he sounds so interesting. He sounds like he's going to come to blows with Euron for sure. Galatza Galare. We've had Euron Greyjoy, now we have Galatza Galare. Thank you, Guld Hirschi. we will definitely keep going with the Blackfire playthrough, at least for another 3 or 4 more episodes. Who? Yeah, that was my response as well. Let's look her up. Let's give her a fair chance. She might be like super interesting. I don't know. I'm feeling a Who tier coming though. What was it? Galatza Galare. Galatza Galare. It's the Green Grace. Ah, right. Okay. Yeah, that's the Green Grace. I've heard that name before. The council proves invaluable to Daenerys Targaryen as she is a voice for peace and tolerance. Two of her kin, Grazar and Keza, are made the Queen's cupbearers and hostages. She just suggests Daenerys marry Hizdahr Lorak, and that she should open the fighting pit. Yeah, okay, I vaguely remember her. The Green Grace. Yeah. Peace is the pearl beyond price. Hizdahr is of Lorak. Never would he soil his lands with poison. He is innocent. Mother of dragons, Madonna Tok'ra forever be hated. Now she's one of Daenerys' advisors, one of the more level-headed ones. I think we will put her up there somewhere. Let's see. For me, she's kind of a who tier, but the Green Grace does sound familiar. But I think that's also kind of the point of all these marine names, is that they're supposed to sound weird, right? They're supposed to sound foreign because they're supposed to sound all the same, because that's kind of how Daenerys feels. So I think that's in that sense it's quite interesting. Because there's a couple of others in here as well where I'm like, who? But then you look them up and they have like a nickname that's fairly recognizable. So we put her up with Edric Storm, C tier? Yeah, I think so. She's pretty prominent. She's Daenerys' advisor. Yeah, let's put her up at C tier. Garland Tyrell. Garland Tyrell is also super interesting. We don't know that much about him, but we know that he is a better fighter than Loras Tyrell. We know that he's sort of better than his brother in every way, right? So he's also, he might, yeah, Westerosi names are British names spelled badly. Yeah, that's true. Westerosi names are supposed to be foreign. Yeah, true. So it makes sense that we are going like who, because that's exactly why she's named that. You know, Garland is cooler. Loras. Yeah, I agree. We don't know that much about him, but he is cool. But he's one of those guys where I'm probably gonna put him higher, despite him being still despite us not knowing a lot about him. So I think I'm going to put him in like B tier. I think he's up there with like Edmure Tully. I think he's very interesting. Yeah, Brynden Tully. He's very similar to Brynden Tully. He's just like this super badass with a very, very badass reputation. It's Rennifer Longwaters, yeah. I know Rennifer Longwaters because he's in one of the live streams between Alt Shift X and Alt Swift X, I should say, and Glidus. He's mentioned, and even Alt Shift X goes like, who? He's the jailer. He's some kind of jailer somewhere. Is he in here? Rennifer Longwaters? He's not even in here. No. Questor is B tier. Yeah, we just thought he was interesting, man. I explained it when we put him in there, but he's just like one of those characters that's super memorable. Like I remember he's one of the first what the fuck moments that I had in the series. You know, that's why I put him up here, because everybody remembers Questor. He's a pretty iconic character because he's like, what? There's a guy who marries his daughters or whatever. It's pretty cool. There's a Longwaters you can play in Secret 2, is there? Okay. Gendry is quite cool. He's like he's the blacksmith's son. He is Robert's bastard, obviously. And in the show, he becomes friends with Arya. In the books, and in the show, he also goes to like Dragonstone, and people take blood from him. But that doesn't happen in the books, I don't believe. But he's an interesting character. Interesting. He's not really interesting, but he's fun. He's a lot of fun, I think, Gendry. Gendry and Arya's banter is quite fun. I think I will put him quite high, but that's just because I like him. Not so much because he's extremely interesting. C tier, maybe? Gendry is also another one of those where I'm like, it kind of depends on what happens in Winds of Winter. Because he is Robert's bastard, so he could become like in the show they make him straight up Lord of the Stormlands. Which makes no sense, but yeah. Makoro, I hate how they aged up the characters. Yeah, well, kind of. I mean, I don't really mind it so much because, like Daenerys, for example, she is in the books. She's like 14, and Jon as well. And then the kind of stuff that they do, like a 14-year-old wouldn't do that. I mean, I think especially Jon is just way too young for the shit he's supposed to be doing. You know, he should be. I think I prefer him being 5 years older. Sandor times Sansa is just weird as fuck. But yeah, that's always the case. I mean, I guess it's a bit less weird in the show than in the books. In the books, it's just really, really, really strange. Same with Daenerys and Jorah. It's very, very, very weird in the books. And also weird in the show, but slightly less so, because Jorah Mormont in the show is just a very attractive guy. And in the books, he's just like this. I will bring him up, because he's really not attractive in the books. Let's see. He's like this 40-year-old dude. Let's see. Jorah Mormont. Okay, this is not too bad, I guess. I remember. I think he looks something like this, like with the bald head. He's not that attractive in the show. But I don't know why we were talking about Jorah Mormont, because he's not on the list yet. He's all the way down. Half bull, half bear, full pedo. Yeah, pretty much. Septa Lemore. Yeah, she's coming. Here she is, Lemore. We could do her right now, I guess. He's also very interesting, because Tyrion is really like, he really has the hots for her, because she sort of undresses on the boat, right? Tyrion really likes her. But yeah, so there's something going on with Lemore. I think there's a lot of theories about her as well, that she's like a Shara Dane, or like Elia Martell or whatever, or one of those people. There's a lot going on with Lemore, but we don't really know enough about her to put her very high, I don't think. We can put her C tier maybe. Yeah, I think she's up there with Gendry. A lot of potential. I'm interested to see where she goes. She is also, she's 40 years old or 45 or something like that, but she's still very attractive. So all those guys on that boat, like Young Griff and John Connington, all those guys have some kind of backstory. That's really strange. Yeah, she's Young Griff's mother. That's very possible, actually. I like that, because we know that Illyrio says something like, "Oh, I have debts of love to repay," or something like that. So some debts can't be repaid with money. So we are, yeah. I think the sort of the reigning theory about Young Griff is that he's Illyrio's son, and that his mother is probably a Blackfire. I think that's the leading theory. And Lemore might be that Blackfire. It's possible. Although I guess if she would have probably been described more in a Valyrian way. But I'm really not sure if that's true. But let's continue on. Jenna Lannister. I vaguely remember her, but she's kind of in the Who tier for me. She's just like this jolly Lannister. Like, she's married, I think, to one of the Freys. We can look her up, I guess. Let's give her a chance. Oh, this one. Jenna Lannister. Let's give Jenna Lannister a chance. Loud jolly aunt everyone has in real life. Yeah, exactly. That's I think what I mentioned briefly earlier. Yeah, she's just a lot of fun. In her youth, she was shapely, always threatening to overflow her bodice. Thanks, George. George is always so descriptive about everybody's boobs. It's like, come on, George. We didn't need to know that. She bosses around her husband. Yeah. They have sort of a fun dynamic going on. I think we can put her up with Aemon Frey, actually. I think that's where she belongs, more or less. Let's see. Let's go back to the tier list. Quick question. What do you believe would happen to Jon Snow if he had more Valyrian features? What do you believe would happen to... Well, he would be found out quicker, I guess. I mean, it's pretty weird, actually, that he has such strong Stark-like features, because the Targaryen hair color and eye color and stuff is passed down pretty consistently, I think. There's not many Targaryen descendants that are that don't have at least the purple eyes. So it is pretty weird that he doesn't really look like a Targaryen, and Ned was really, really lucky there, I guess. He didn't know that at first. Jenna Lannister, we'll put her up with Aemon Frey, D tier. D tier is fine by me. Cool to catch a live stream of yours. Welcome, Danny. There's only like 10 people here, so enjoy yourself. Maybe if Jon was blonde and purple-eyed, Ned would say he was a Shara's son. Could be. Yeah, that's possible. Because who is going to tell him that's not true? Because Brandon is dead, right? But yeah, if he would have done that, then the Danes would probably not be big fans of him anymore. Gerald Dane. Here he is. Our favorite edge boy. I think he's actually not that bad, but he's like sort of this meme character in the fandom because he has the famous line. Let's look him up. Because he has the famous edgy line. Let's see, Gerald Dane. Everybody's favorite edgelord. Zip. He's got the black streak in his hair and everything. He should have his own of the night tier. I think I'm gonna do that. Because Aegon V married Beta Blackwood, and all the marriages after are incest. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the Blackwood blood mixed with the Stark blood. That's possible, I suppose. I mean, you could explain it away any way you want, because George's genetics doesn't really make that much sense. Do we put him in the edgelord tier or in the knight tier? Let's do that. If I let 250,000 men to death, would they call me Gerald the Great? I shall remain Darkstar, I think. At least it is mine own. I was weaned on venom, Dalt. Men call me Darkstar, and I am of the night. That's the famous line, right? I don't really remember much of him, but you know, he's also kind of anime. Let's put him in a Darkstar, in the of the night tier. Let's do that. Make it black. Let's add a row below. Make it black. Edgelord. We can see it because it's a black color. That wasn't thought through. I guess in the dark gray we might be able to see it. There we go. Edgelord tier. He's so anime, it's amazing. I agree. He's got the dumbass streak in his hair and everything. Jairus Drinkwater. Jairus Drinkwater. Wow. I did look him up. And he is apparently in the crew of Quentyn Martell. Edgiest boy on 4chan, yeah. He's apparently in the crew of Quentyn Martell. But I have no fucking clue. Before I looked him up, I had no fucking clue. Let's look him up though, because he is apparently he is some kind of like Gerald, some kind of big strong bad boy basically. Jairus Drinkwater is a knight from House Drinkwater and a longtime friend of Prince Quentyn Martell. And then Dany thinks he's hot, and he travels along with Quentyn. And he comes to the court of Dany together with Quentyn, and he sort of tries to discourage Quentyn to go after the dragon. And he's just like a very strong, very arrogant guy. He's like a typical Lannister, basically. But we're gonna put him in the Who tier because, like, who the fuck is this guy? Come on, like Quentyn has one chapter, and this guy is apparently in there, but it seems none of you remember him either. So we're gonna put him in the solidly in the Who tier. Unless some of you have a reason not to do that. Some of you are like, oh, actually, Jairus Drinkwater is completely necessary for the story or whatever. Then I don't want you to check the spelling. I know how to spell edgelord. Come on. Ghost. The good boy. Ghost is the most interesting of the direwolves, I think. Ghost, we could put him up with Drogon, I guess. Is he as interesting as Drogon? A tier? He's a good boy. And he probably Jon walks into him, right? When he dies. That's a theory, and I'm pretty convinced that's true, because Jon's last words are ghost. Last word is ghost. What to do with Ghost? I think we can put him up with Drogon. What do you guys think? He's a good boy, right? Gilly. Gilly is the wildling daughter of Craster and Sam's girlfriend. She gets a baby from Craster, but I think it's switched with the baby from Mance or something like that. There's something fishy going on there. But they have a very cute relationship, Gilly and Sam. Sort of a teenager relationship. They travel south to Old Town at the end of the last book. They travel south, And they sort of develop a relationship. But I kind of like Jilly, but I don't think she's like this amazing character or anything. Where to put her? I enjoy reading about her. I guess C tier, maybe B. Ghost highest tier. I put him in A tier. That's quite high, right? Even Arya's Wolf would be pretty high tier. I think so for the dragons we ended up going with like a Drogon is A tier, and then all the other dragons are B tier. I think maybe for Ghost we should do the same thing. We should put Ghost in A tier and all the other wolves in B tier. I think that's fair. We can do that right now actually. Greywind is B tier. Any other wolf boys? Lady is kind of C tier really. Well, let's put her in B tier. Let's be consistent here. Where are the other wolf boys? Wolfy boys. Shaggy Dog can be put up here. There's one more, right? Which one am I missing? Arya's one, I think. Where is she? I forget the name of Arya's direwolf. Nymeria, yeah. Nymeria, here she is. Let's put her as well in B tier. I finished Quentin chapter like 2 days ago and I don't remember Drinkwater. I mean, that's a solid hoot here. Ghost highest tier, yeah. Jilly, we were going to put Jilly somewhere. I think either C tier or maybe B tier. Put her up with Garland Tyrell. Yeah, B tier is fine for Gilly, I think. She's quite an important character and she's quite fun. All right. I think I'm just going to have a 10-minute break, guys. So I think I will put up the break thing I made. Or is it? There we go. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Just a bathroom break and I'm going to drink something. See you in 10 minutes, guys. All right, we're back. Anybody still in the chat? I see I have still like 5 or 6 viewers. It's been going down a little bit, I guess, because I went on break. We're going to continue for a little while still, though. Where were we? Good old Gregor Clegane. I think we will put the Edgelord tier a bit at the top, actually, because it's not. It's only one character, right? Well, no, I guess we could put Euron in here. He's a bit of an Edgelord, anime Edgelord. Let's put him. Let's put it at the top here. Gerald Dane is the top-ranked Edgelord character in all of A Song of Ice and Fire. Gregor Clegane, though, he is also pretty damn edgy, right? I guess I survived the break. You did. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, everybody. Gregor Clegane, where shall we put Gregor Clegane? The mountain that rides. Zombie boy. Fiery boy. The man who tortured his brother in his youth. He's, yeah, fair enough, Bronco guy. I guess Euron is kind of a character. Darkstar is, well, I guess he's also a character, but he's also just like his only character trait is that he's an edgy boy. At least the only character trait I can remember of him. But Gregor Clegane, though, I think he's up there. I think he's a cut above like our normal strong boys, because we have most of the sort of characters whose only trait is that they're good fighters up here in D tier. But Gregor Clegane is like iconic, right? He's like, I think you could make the same argument for him that I made for Crestor, really, is that everybody remembers the mountain, right? Everybody remembers this like 7 feet tall guy, and they really did a good job casting him in the show as well. Because you have the what's the actor's name? I forget, but he is also, I think, like a pro wrestler or something. Because he's also like 7 feet tall. So Gregor Clegane, very, very memorable character. I like him very much. Should we put him up in the same tier as Crestor? Because I'm kind of arguing the same towards the same conclusion as Crestor, but I think he's a bit lower than Crestor. I think he's in the bronze tier. Yeah, he did a good job all 3 times. What do you mean? Oh, you mean like when he's normal guy and when he's a zombie guy? And what's the 3rd time? 8 feet of muscle, hatred, and sheer madness. Yep, that's what people like about him. I think he's up there. He's either C tier or B tier. I think. Oh, did they recast him? I didn't even know that. They put he has his helmet on for like most of the final seasons anyway, right? Gren. Who the fuck is Gren? I'm also gonna kind of run into the area of the list where I haven't really done any pre-research, so we maybe have to look up a few more characters. Gren. Let's have a look at Mr. Gren. I have Thor, yeah. Gren. Oh, he's a Night's Watchman. Let's look him up in the wiki. Zip, here we go. Here he is. Gren. Is a Night's Watch and a friend of Jon Snow. He's given the nickname Aurochs by Sir Alistair Thorne. He's played by Mark Stanley. Oh, we don't have a picture of him. He's thick of neck. He's a head taller than Jon Snow at age 16. Jon's original impression is that he's slow and clumsy. Even his friends in the Night's Watch often mock him for his looks and for not being the smartest. Is he a good friend of Jon? Doesn't really show up that much in the first 2 seasons. Oh, the mountain, you mean? Yeah, okay. This guy also doesn't show up that much in the first 2 seasons, I don't think, though. Survives the fight at the first when the Night's Watch is attacked by Whites. Gwen and Smallpaw encountered the spirit. Bear the Maiden Fair. Yeah, it's just one of those buddies, I think. It's not been the same since having been chosen the new Lord Commander. He's just a friend of Jon. The dude who fights the giant. No, I think that was. I think we ranked him already. The guy who fought. That's the Smith guy. Let's see. We will just move back to the tier list. I can show you. It's the. We ranked him. I think. Bowen Marsh. No, it was. Donal Noy, I think, is the one who fights the dragon. But he might be in that team as well, because it's like a couple of people, right? I think I will put him up with Donal Noy then. Although I don't really remember this guy. But that's just because, like I said, I've read these books 6 years ago. Especially the Night's Watch. All those characters kind of blend together for me by now. Grey Worm. Torgo Nodo. He's pretty cool. Donal Noy dies fighting the dragon, and then Godry Ferring kills it. Yeah, that could be. But we're Grey Worm. Okay, what do we know about Grey Worm? He's a eunuch. He's in the big eunuch army, the Unsullied. He has kind of an arc in the books. He's quite cool in the books. I think in the show, like with most characters, they sort of lean too much on him being like a super badass. Like, and I think he's interesting because he's like. He is chosen by his fellow Unsullied to be a commander, so there must be something about this guy, because those guys seem to trust him just fine. I like Grey Worm a bit, but I think he's solid C tier. I think he's not B tier. He's up here, I think, with like Donal Noy and Aeron Greyjoy, Brandon Stark. That seems about right to me. I like him, but I don't really love him. Like, if you want to go to B tier, then I need to really enjoy reading your chapters, you know. And for Grey Worm, that's, well, sometimes the case, but like not all the time. Okay, Helden Halfmeester. He should have gone after Jon after his death. Yeah, 100%. I mean, season 8 is dumb. It makes no sense that he doesn't do that. And also, all the Dothraki are sworn to Daenerys, right? They are blood riders, and like the one thing that a blood rider does is kill the person who killed their master, and they just all go away. It makes no sense at all. Helden Halfmeester. I think he's one of the guys in the boat with young Griff, if I recall correctly. We can look him up though. Let's see. Helden Halfmeester. Helden Halfmeester. There he is. A healer and a tutor for young Griff. Yeah. This is a cool piece of art, though. Look at this. He's like a Japanese fellow, almost. Good going, Catherine Young. He has the largest cabin on the Shire Made. His walls are lined with bookshelves and has bins for old parchments and scrolls and racks of ointments. Yeah. The entire thing with the wildlings and Jon going beyond the wall is kind of silly in this way. Yeah, they're going to make the new show Snow about that, though. And I really don't know what they're going to do. Like, what is the show even going to be about? I'm really, really struggling. But I guess, I mean, I do know that Kit Harington was very much involved, but that doesn't really tell you much, because Picard, for example, is a horrible show. And Patrick Stewart was very much involved in that. So that actors just want to see themselves. You know, they tend to be quite arrogant. So I don't know if Kit Harington being involved in that show is good. I haven't watched Picard, and I'm not gonna. But yeah, that's similar. But I think this guy's pretty neat. Eldon Half-Master checks Tyrion for grayscale by sticking a knife into Tyrion's toes and fingers. Yeah. That's I think we will put him. I think it feels like a D tier to me or something like that. I think we will do that. He's okay, but he's not really memorable. That's my feeling, at least. Like, he's up there with Jenna Lannister. So yeah, that sounds about right. Harold Harding. Harold Harding is Harry the heir. He's sort of the heir to the Vale. He is the sort of a second cousin or something to Robin, Sweet Robin. And he's the heir to the Vale, and I don't really know anything about him other than he's the heir to the Vale. I don't even know if we meet him in the books, to be honest. I do know his name, but I don't really know that much else about him. Let's look him up. Harold Harding. He is an Aaron, I think. Let's see. Harold Harding is sometimes called the Young Falcon, gallant, handsome squire, and a ward of Lady Anya Waynwood. He's the cousin and heir presumptive of Lord Robert Arryn. Yeah. Peter Baelish's meetings. Harold should become his ward and a companion to Robert Arryn. Harold rides with the Waynwoods to the Gates of the Moon to the tourney for the Brotherhood of Winged Knights. There is met by Miranda Royce and Elaine Stone, his betrothed. He's betrothed to Sansa Stark. Oh, is that true? Okay, that's something that the show kind of sort of pushed out of my mind, I guess, because in the show, Sansa is betrothed to Ramsay, but in the books that doesn't happen, and it doesn't really make sense either. He's betrothed to Sansa. That's cool. Because he is, I think, quite a good match for Sansa if I read this. He's just like this young squired knight. He's not too old. Interesting. Okay, I think as a character he's quite boring. But as a sort of concept, as a sort of husband to Sansa, he's quite interesting. I'm feeling like a D tier again, though. Maybe C tier? Up there with Grey Worm. Yeah, he's up there with, I think, Lemore. People like that. Yeah. Littlefinger marrying Sansa after Ramsay. Yeah, a great idea indeed. Harold is just killed off in a duel. Is he even in the show? I don't remember this guy being in the show. It could be though. Harry Strickland. Harry Strickland is a lot of fun. He is the commander of the Golden Company, right? He is the leader of the Golden Company, and he's quite interesting in the sense that he is just a very sort of genial, likable guy. And he's just sort of the leader of this brutal company of sellswords. He's quite interesting in that. He's like, he subverts your expectations. Which those words have been ruined by all the Star Wars discussion in the last couple of years. But this guy subverts your expectations in a good way, I think. He's just this likable guy who runs a big sellsword company. So I think that makes him fun. You know, I think I will put him up with Harold Harding, actually. Harry Strickland. It feels like a C tier. Are there any decent characters coming? Yeah, there are. There's some good ones coming. So we're gonna go back into the A and B and S tier soon, hopefully. In the show, Harold is just killed off in a duel. Sansa sort of gets a taste of how she treated Jon. Yeah, he was Jon Arryn's squire, who acquired wealth after his death. Okay, cool. Interesting. I should read up on him a little bit more. I think he's an interesting guy. He also always inherits the Vale in my playthroughs. If I do stick it to Game of Thrones, Sweet Robin is sickly, so he tends to die, and then this guy inherits the Vale. So that's why I'm probably the main reason why I know him so well. All the young Griff crowd are sort of cool. Yeah, I agree. Harris Swift. Who is Harris Swift? I don't remember him at all. It sounds like a Who to me. Harris Swift. But I might be wrong, huh? I haven't read these books in 6 years. Harris Swift. Like this? That's a weird spelling. He's a knight of Cornfield and head of House Swift. He's a good father to Sir Kevin Lannister. Alright. Part of Tywin Lannister's force in the Riverlands. He participates in the Battle of the Green Fork. Lives in the Seas River. Harold questions Sir Jaime. He questions Sir Jaime Lannister's tactical ability. He's sort of in the entourage of Tywin, it seems. Harris is named Hand of the King by Queen Regent Cersei Lannister because he's a weak man whom Cersei could use as a hostage against her uncle Sir Kevan Lannister. Harris is confused during the meetings of... I think I remember him, yeah. Yeah. Vaguely. He's in some of the Cersei chapters, yeah. Continues to serve as the Lord Treasurer, although his vaults are empty. He's fun. He sounds like fun. But I don't really remember him much. So it's either Who tier or it's like D tier or something. Let's see. I am kind of thinking to put him in Who tier because I don't really know this guy. But if you guys have a good argument to put him higher, then I have no problem putting him in D tier. If you have like a memorable scene or something that he's in, that's pretty much enough to sway me. The High Sparrow. High Sparrow is pretty interesting. Like he's obviously Howland Reed, right? That's one of the more tinfoily theories. Is the Howland Reed is the High Sparrow one? It like makes no sense at all. But the High Sparrow as a character is quite interesting because he is I think he's elected by the faith because he is he seems like a very good like monk character, and there was one pope like that in history, and I'm struggling to think who it was. But there was a pope who was sort of elected because he was just such a pious character, and he turned out to be quite wily at court intrigue as well. He's obviously Dario and secretly Euron. Yeah, who isn't? Who isn't these days? Come on. I think High Sparrow is Howland Reed is a legitimate theory though. I think there's a good old Shift X video about that as well. Where to put him though? I think he's an interesting character. I think also in the show he's quite interesting. His scenes and his whole arc drags on a little too much and ends quite dumbly. Although I don't really mind Cersei blowing up the Sept of Baelor in the show, although the aftermath sucks. Because nothing happens. Everybody is just cool with it. It makes no sense. But High Sparrow, I think we will put him up in high C tier. Maybe B tier. No, he's not up in B. Is he up in B tier? No. Her becoming queen is so ridiculous. Yeah, I agree. Makes no sense. Hisdar Zolorak. This is the husband of Daenerys Targaryen. But that's pretty much all I know about him. He's a slaver, or he's from an old slaver house in Meereen. So she marries him kind of to sort of secure the loyalty of the slavers, but she fails miserably in that. Let's look up this guy, see what we know about him. Hisdar Zolorak. I do remember, like when I read these Daenerys chapters, that like all these names are thrown at you, and you're like, "Who is this? What is this? What is going on?" And this is one of those names. Hisdar Zolorak. I think he's also kind of like not so bright, right? Ezrak the Handsome, merchant with Meereen, Dany's husband, yeah. But what kind of guy is he? Hisdar offers her spiced locusts. Yep. The pits are reopened for a series of blood sports. That's, I think, up to him. Bring her 90 days of peace with no more harpy killings before she will consider, and he agrees. So he's involved with the Sons of the Harpy. Yeah, okay, that makes him quite interesting, I guess. He's not the most interesting character. He's just sort of... Well, he's fine. He's not the worst. He's just one of those characters in the Dany chapters that kind of blend together. So we will put him in like C tier or something. Maybe D tier. Let's see, tier list. I guess D tier, because I think C tier characters are basically D tier characters that have at least one interesting thing about them. I guess he kind of falls under that, because he is involved with the Sons of the Harpies. Yeah, we put him in C tier. Hodor. Well, it's an easy S tier, right? Or should we give him a separate tier? Yeah, we will give him a separate tier. At the row above, we'll make it white, I guess. There we go. He's all the way up top. That's where he belongs, in the Hodor tier. Hosteen Frey. That's another Frey character. Wow. I think he's probably in the Who part of the phrase again, because I don't really remember much about him. Is he one of the players in the Frey family? Hosteen Frey. Hodor's name is Wolder. Yeah, he's Wolder. So we should put him in the Who tier, I guess, with the other Wolders. The first one of his third wife. He's just one of the Freys. Yeah, he's just a basic Frey. He doesn't really do much, it seems, based from just scrolling through his wiki here. So I think we're gonna put him in the Who tier with the other Freys. There we go. Hoster Tully. Hoster Tully, we don't see him much. He is the father to Catelyn Tully and Edmure Tully. He's the Lord of Riverrun, and basically he is just sickly the whole time, right? Do we know anything about Hoster Tully other than he's Lord of Riverrun and he's sick? I don't really think so. Yeah, he was probably involved in the wars in Robert's Rebellion, right? Yeah. So what do we know about Hoster Tully? I think he's kind of boring character. I think probably D tier. Put him up here with Eris Oakheart. Unless you guys have any interesting stories about Hoster Tully, then please do tell them. Yep. Okay, we're back. I hope you guys didn't see any personal information in that thing. I don't think so. Okay, and luckily it saved my tier list. Thank God for that. Well, I guess I could have just watched back the stream and set it back up quite quickly. Hot Pie. All right, next character. What do we know about Hot Pie? Hot Pie should be up in the Hodor tier, I think. What do you guys think? Hot Pie is just a super, just a bratty kid, basically, who makes pies, right? I'm not gonna make a separate tier for all the Mimi characters, but he's good. I'm gonna put him up here in the Hodor tier. I only saw the analytics on like a Frame of CK2 subreddit. Yeah, I think so. I think it was just my account at the CK2. That's fine. You guys can see that. Quintuple S tier, yeah. We could do that, I guess. That's basically what the Hodor tier is, right? Hyle Hunt. What do we know about Hyle Hunt? I don't know much about this guy. Let's see. I think he is he like a random Kingsguard again? Serves to House Starly. So Edmund Ambrose began a wager on taking Brienne of Tarth's Maidenhead. Oh, let me just share this again. There we go. So he is the guy who tries to take... He's kind of a prick, I guess. He is the one who tries to take the Maidenhead of Brienne of Tarth. One of Stannis' knights in the north, could be. Taken prisoner, and by those sworn to Lady Stoneheart. But without banners, beat Hyle until his face is almost unrecognizable. Despite Brienne's insistence that Hyle is innocent of any crimes, he is judged guilty for allying himself with House Lannister and sentenced to death. Wow, Jesus. Okay. He's also kind of a plot device, I guess. I'm not Renly Baratheon, I confess it, but I have the virtue of being still amongst the living. Some would say this is my only virtue. Marriage would serve the both of us. Alright. Lips are made for kissing. Leave your chamber door unbarred tonight, and I will steal into your bed and prove the truth of what you'll say. Wow. What a prick. I'm not getting the tier list back up, guys. I think we're gonna have to call it here. Because otherwise I'm just gonna be finicking with the settings of OBS for the rest of the night, and you guys don't want to see that. But we got quite far. We ranked quite a bunch of characters, if you ask me. We ranked. Well, I can count them. I can count them real quick. We still have a lot to go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have about 155 characters still to go. But we're going to make another part another day indeed, Adam. Thank you guys very much for watching. I will put this live stream will probably be up for you guys to rewatch already on my channel. I might want to re-upload that without the technical issues in there. And I will also make a shortened version of it. I will also sort of edit it down a bit, keep the most interesting stuff in there. Yes, and if you want to make your own tier list, I put the link to this tier list in the description, so you can also already do that if you like. So thank you guys for watching. It's not been a lot of you, but I think it's been fun nonetheless. We've had some good feedback from you, and yeah, let's do a part 2 one day, and have a happy New Year in advance. Next episode will be up probably the 1st of January. The meme edit, the Hodor cut, yeah, of course. All right, thank you guys, and see you at the next stream. Bye bye.